Welcome, my friends, to the live Sunday edition. It is July 3rd, 2016. And coming up live in studio, David Knight, my co-host, is going to be completing the transmission here today on the eve of July 4th. What is this, 241 years? In fact, I should check that. How many years, I just thought of that, has it been since the Declaration of Independence signed on July 4th, 1776? I guess that's 240 years. We need to do the math on that. Here we are, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to have Larry Nichols on today because Larry was on the Friday show. He's one of the consummate Clinton insiders and a whistleblower for more than 20 years, exposing their activities when they became so criminal, really predicting that she wouldn't get indicted and really predicting that they would just accelerate their attacks on free speech. So I wanted to talk with him a few segments about this because it's really unprecedented in modern history to have an administration or someone running for office to be this corrupt. And now we know the FBI was ordered to tell the press to not report on this or not to film it or tape it when she met with him last week there at the airport in this James Bond-style villain rendezvous. And, of course, they got caught lying about that. And this is while Hillary Clinton and Bill are both under criminal investigation for the foundation, not just the emails. And so what is their game plan? Because the media is saying that Lynch said she's going to take what the FBI said and do it. No, she said she's going to look at it, then she'll make the final decision. That's what she actually said. We're going to be playing that later. And, of course, Bloomberg's also reporting that they talked to DOJ folks that say that's the case. So this is a big deal. Decipher this for us, Larry Nichols. You used to run these type of operations for them. What's really going on? What does all this mean?
Well, Alex, what it's all about is they had to meet to get their deal worked out. And as I told you in the segment Friday, I think they made 3 deals. Number one, Bill Clinton assured Lynch that if Hillary was elected, she'd get to keep her job. Number one. Number two, she made it clear to Lynch, I'll bet you he handed her a piece of paper, and in that piece of paper was the information on a couple of the prosecutors showing that they had stuff on them, that if the indictment is dropped and it goes away, but if any of those prosecutors decide to come out and talk about it and tell the truth, they're letting them know they'll be destroyed. And then the third thing is they are working out their arrangement with Lynch to stop conservative, moral Christian people from coming out and, and rioting and posing, protest and such like that. And to have her indict probably a half a dozen of those people, and that will shut it down.
Well, you're the man to know, and you've been so accurate in the past. My concern is she actually was saying a few months ago she might arrest people that criticize Muslims, and then she had to backtrack, and she says she wants to censor talk radio. This woman's even more monstrous than Eric Holder.
Alex, it's been their goal. You know it. It's been their goal to get rid of the First Amendment, to stop the freedom of the speech. And they're going to do it this time. Alex, you and I have talked about it, and I am more confident than ever. This is the last election we're going to have. This coming up November 3rd is going to be the defining moment for this country. November the 3rd, we're either going to be a communist dictatorship for real, out in the open, or we're going to have a government that takes the first step to get us back to the country we were meant to be.
And welcome back to this eve of July 4th, 2016, July 3rd transmission. I'm Alex Jones. Coming up live in studio, David Knight, my co-host, is going to have the latest breaking news and analysis. And we've got clips of Lynch actually saying she'll make the final determination. Those stories are up on Infowars.com concerning any indictments of Hillary. And then we also are going to play clips. We have this ABC reporter and others that have gone on national TV and said they were ordered to not videotape or record the secret meeting, and it was supposed to be a secret meeting until the media leaked it, between Bill Clinton, who's being investigated along with his wife, and the Attorney General of the United States. I mean, this is just naked, super arrogant, in-your-face, crazy town stuff. And even a lot of the liberal media is having trouble covering this up. But Larry Nichols is here to break this down with us today and tell us what he thinks is coming up next. He was talking about this perhaps being the last election in U.S. history. And I've known Larry Nichols, again, as a big Clinton insider, helped him run for office, was one of their handlers until they got so corrupt he went out against them. If you don't know who he is, he's the source of a lot of the big stories against him that have turned out to be very accurate. I've known him 20 years. He's never said that this is probably going to be the last election. But we just see massive escalations in preparation for civil unrest, martial law. This show has a lot of credibility now, not so much because of myself or even my great crew, but because the topics we covered a long time ago have been proven to be accurate. Well, we were going off government documents and real issues. I mean, we were telling the truth. But the reason we have the credibility is the globalist program has been confirmed, and they are going into high gear. So it's kind of a paradox. People are really waking up. We said the British exit from the euro, despite all that propaganda. A lot of folks are waking up to the New World Order and crony capitalism and how they use socialism to control people. But a lot of political correctness is in trouble. But at the same time, man, the tyrants are in central control. So Larry Nichols, lay this out for us where you think this is all going.
Well, Alex, relative to it being the last election, let's figure this out for ourselves. And I want your audience to be able to justify this as they tell others. Number one, with the massive influx of Muslims, with the illegal Mexicans that are here, when you add those two to the new rule that they're putting in, which is if you've got a driver's license, you can vote. Then when you add to that the felons out of prison that now can vote, there is no way the average middle-class American, there might be elections after November the 3rd, but they're not, that Russia and Cuba have elections. It's not going to be the same. We, Alex, the middle-class American, is not going to be relevant anymore. Not in the election process. It's over. And let me ask you this, Alex. Why would you vote in the next election for a Republican in the primary? You now know what you and I've been telling people for years and years and years, but now they can see it for themselves. You go vote in a Republican primary. Why? Because your vote don't count. The delegate is who's going to pick it, not your vote.
And they're already introducing us to the, quote, new rules they have in place. And the mainstream media goes, of course we shouldn't count votes. Of course votes don't count. The parties, as George Will wrote in the Washington Post, are the sovereigns. They're even calling themselves sovereigns, the new royalty. Maybe delegates, superdelegates, will hand down royal baronies to their children.
Absolutely. Now, there's one other thing achieved by that meeting with Janet Lynch, or whatever.
Loretta
Lynch, I'm sorry. Another thing comes out of that. You see, Alex, everything's moving for the central government plan. It's all moving that way. And by them coming out now and doing what they're doing to put pressure on anybody protesting against Hillary, if she's not indicted, any protest by using indictments and prosecution to shut the people's voice down, guess what they're doing? They're killing Donald Trump. They're doing this now, Alex, to put pressure on the RNC to take the nomination away from Donald Trump. Remember, he doesn't have that nomination yet. And relative to the rules, as you were talking, what is the rule for, remember the 1237? That's bogus. We now
That's right. And by the way, I said they were doing this all along. They admit they were playing possum. They're still saying they're going to try to steal it now during the convention.
Absolutely. Remember, folks, if you doubt us, just remember this and forget everything else. That whole myth about the 1237, remember, there are no rules for the convention until 6 days before the convention when the Executive Rules Committee meets, and that's when they'll decide what Trump has to do to get to be the nominee. And I'm telling you, Alex, you know it You know it as well as I do, and you know the person I have on the inside that tells me the things that the RNC leadership's up to. They are planning every way they can to stop Trump from getting that nomination. Friday, I started telling you about 40-40-20. 40%, that's in politics, that's the law. 40-40-20. 40% love Hillary. There's nothing she can do to make them not love her. 40% hate her. There's nothing she can do to make them like her. It's that 20% that the media calls undecided. I call them don't care. Now, Alex, think about it. They don't care. They're watching football, basketball, going out to bars, playing pool. The only time they care about politics is November the 3rd. You know what they'll do? They'll look at the polls, see who's leading, and they'll go vote for that person. That way they can brag that they voted for the winner. Everything Trump's going to do in this race, starting the day he gets the nomination, if he does, he's going to have to buy. You know, during the primary, Alex, Trump got all this free media. Well, he's going to get free media in the general election, sure enough, but it's all going to be bad. And if he wants to get to that 20% that will actually decide the outcome of this race, he's going to have to buy access to get to those folks. And that's going to be $1 billion.
That's right. He just needs to, he's going to be politically and culturally and just emblematically destroyed. He's all in. He better start spending his own money big time. Larry Nichols, in closing, this is the reason I got you back on today, really, is you were getting into the polling. A lot of their internal polling, I know the Trump campaign, he's actually ahead 3, 4, 5 points, some 7 or 8 or higher. But that's in battleground states. He's dead heat in a lot of states, where she supposedly is on top. But they come out and say the Clinton News Network said she was 6 points ahead on Friday in a poll, and we know how they manipulate those. You got cut off when you said what that signified.
Well, right now when you see a poll, Alex, and they're showing Hillary 12 points ahead, don't believe it. It can't be that way. It's any poll that you see at this moment in time in the political race between Clinton and Trump. It'll be 40 plus or minus 1 or 2 points. For Hillary, 40 plus or minus 1 or 2 points for Trump. But the reason, Alex, they're fluffing up Hillary's numbers in these bogus polls, again, is to try to get the RNC to say, hey, he hasn't got a chance. He can't possibly beat her, and kick him out in that 6-day meeting. That's what they're up to. This is all about eliminating Trump. Look, I don't know whether Trump would be a great president, a good president, a bad president. I don't know. But he certainly is outside of the system, and they don't want him.
Absolutely. He hadn't played ball, and he's shown he's an anti-globalist. And I've been told by a lot of longtime patriots that are high level that, no, he's actually a closet info warrior, not just Jerome Corsi, but so many others, and that's why they are scared to death. This signifies that nationalism is rising, and it's beautiful. Folks can find Larry at nicholslive@aol.com and can also support him there on the PayPal as he battles cancer. I didn't ask for that, but it's important to do. nicholslive@aol.com. Thank you so much, Larry Nichols. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Sounds great. Thanks, Alex.
You bet. Okay, we're going to go to break. We're going to come back, and we are going to hand the baton. I have a few more comments to make, though, with the man, David Knight. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us, Infowars.com. It's July 3rd. Now, talk about synchronicity, serendipity, coincidence, whatever. I was going to break. I was intending to come back and talk about this very subject, and Larry Nichols was still in my ear. They hadn't disconnected him, our guest, and he said, hey, Alex, I want to come on next week or soon separately to talk about what a major insurance company told me. Separately, I actually do business with this insurance company. And he said, and what other insiders are telling me about crashing the economy and how people need to get prepared. Talk about the zeitgeist. I was just about to come back and say that we've got a special that runs through 4th of July, and I guess until Tuesday, one of the biggest food specials ever, 20 to 40% off InfoWars Select, which is just My Patriot Supply food, private labeled by us, who are able to sell it for even lower, and their prices are great. We sell both theirs and our private labeled at InfoWarsStore.com. We have a whole bunch of other big specials on other survival goods that are the highest quality at the lowest prices you're going to find at InfoWarsStore.com. You can also call toll-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you have any questions or want to order over the phone, 888-253-3139.